on a slow day of real estate. Everyone's talking about the Tucker Carlson Putin interview. We won't really get into that, but that is all next. Yes, we're going to go over CNBC, what they said. Logan Mahoushami actually is going over why there's so little sales in real estate. He has a graph, and we're going to go over interest rates and where's a 10-year bond. It just keeps going up. All next on Real Estate Daily. Welcome, everyone. My name is Troy, and every day we go over, Monday through Friday, we go over the latest news in real estate, housing, and the mortgage market. Now, before we jump into it, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to give you the best 5 to 10 minutes in real estate on a daily basis, but this one's going to be short and sweet. Let's jump right into it. All right, this is a CNBC a couple hours ago, came out, and Ryan Serhant on housing market, prices will stay high this spring. Okay, so Ryan Serhant, founder and CEO of Serhant Joints, and he jumped on the exchange on CNBC, and he said the same thing that a lot of people are saying. It's just going to keep, these housing prices are going to stay up. And the reason why is there's just no inventory. And that is just a recurring theme. Now, let's really separate what the residential housing market looks like. The residential housing market is broken into two. 90 to 90+% is resale. So that means someone's already owned a home and they're reselling their home. Now, a little less than 10% is your new builders. Now, new builders are more connected to Wall Street. So they're only here for profit. So if they actually sell less, it's because they know that they don't want to lose money. They only want to sell winning homes, meaning they only want to make profit on homes. So if they build less, it's no skin off their back because they're only here to make profit. Unlike, let's say, a consumer on a residential house for a resale. Now, flippers obviously just want to make as much money as possible, but there's a lot of other sellers out there are more sentimental, or they have other reasons for selling and they will sell less, or they'll drop their price quicker. But new home builders just don't want to do it. They're typically wanting to see the home sold prior to even building or construction, even breaking ground. Now, a lot of them do actually sell the home when they're pouring foundation or, putting up, wood or whatever they're doing. They want them sold, and they kind of lock the client into a contract. A lot of times on new builds, that contract is non-breakable, meaning that if for whatever reason somewhere down the road you decide, hey, I've changed my mind, or I bought a resale home, you absolutely have your deposit on the line. And I tell people all the time, if you are smart, find a real estate agent that deals in new home builds like I do. I'm going to show new home builds this weekend. You need to bring them with you the very first time you show up, because they're going to go over some of the most important things about new builds that the agent that's there on site who represents the builder might just forget about it. Things such as, let's go over solar, or let's go over what is a tax rate, and what does that tax rate include, or what are all the extras, or what, and I should say, not or, and what happens is that all of a sudden you actually get upcharged for, a lot fee, or for, how high your elevation fee. All these things are important that just don't get translated typically by the salespeople. But if you bring a real estate agent that knows what he's doing, he'll help you out. All right, let's jump into our next one. Logan Mahoushami, he's one of the concentrated real estate economists that are out there. I respect him highly. If anyone knows who he is, he's shows up on CNBC. He also does other shows as well. He is like their top economic advisor on Housing Wire. And this is what he really is talking about. It says, reading is good. And I guess reading is good. It says 2007 inventory was 4 million, with a significant distressed loans coming into the system. New listing data run at 250,000 to 400,000 a week from 2008 to 2011. That's the housing crisis, right? Now, inventory is 1 million. See the difference? We're down 75%, guys. We went from 250 to 400 a week to 30 to 90,000 per week. Actually, I go over it. There's really less than a 0.5% are distress sales. we are seeing inventory. And then he shows a graph here. How crazy is this graph? As you see it just go down, 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 down. Look at this. Since 1984, let's go across this line right here. Nothing. We're at the lowest point. Why? Well, a lot of people say because people are in 2, 3, 4% interest rate homes, and it's cheaper to actually stay in that home than to go sell it, get all your equity, put it in the bank, and then just see it melt away on rent. Now, I know a lot of people out there have talked about rent. Oh, rents are going down. Rents are going down in certain parts of the country. Okay, a lot of parts of the country, there's rent freezes on for years and years and years. So it's really subduing the amount of rent that can be charged, and especially here, California, for example. Let's look at Los Angeles. There has been a rent freeze almost 4 years, meaning that if you own a home or own a rental property in the county of Los Angeles, especially the city of Los Angeles, you haven't been able to raise your rents. So in Chicago or San Francisco, I saw a guy buy out another tenant that's been in there for 10 years, bought him out for $200,000. Okay, because he needs to go raise rents. He says that that's a better deal to buy these people out than it is to let them sit there and pay significantly under rent and under rent average. New York City, it's all the same. And I'll say this, all these big major blue cities that are out there, they're very pro-renter, and they will freeze rents. So they're getting away from capitalism. They're getting right into Marxism. And I don't want to be political here, but you know what I'm talking about. If you want to get ahead in the American dream, you buy your house, you buy your first house, then what do? You turn around, you go ahead, and your second house is more of your dream home, more of the forever home. But your first house, most people don't want to sell it. They want to rent that out. Makes sense, right? I'd want to rent it out, wouldn't you? And then they're making income. So they've had 5, 10, 15 years of paying a mortgage down. Now the mortgage is significantly under market. You can go rent and cash flow that on top of it. And that's how you build wealth. Okay? That's how you build wealth. Can't build wealth in LA, guys, because they'll freeze your rents. Freeze them all the way down. And they're so pro-winter that they'll take over a property that they feel is condemned or has major problems, and the tenant is complaining to the city. So these are all issues that you're dealing with. When people talk about rents are going down, it's not that. It's not a free market, number one. Number two, how do they figure out where rents are going down? Well, mostly if you look at apartments, yes, I see rents going down because I see more people that are stressed out, can't make payments, are starting to live with each other, right? So they're renting rooms out. I'll take that 2-bedroom that I used to rent, and now I'm gonna go rent a bedroom over here for half the price, and I'm gonna get by. And so we're seeing a lot. But housing wise, you don't see a whole lot of unrented houses. You just don't see it, right? It's not out there. But apartments you do, and that's the separation that you see. And when I hate seeing the CPI come out, and they're talking about, oh, well, rents have gone down. Guys, it's a survey. It's not even fact. It's like going to 15 people on the street, and I see these surveys. I see these things that people like to live off facts all day when they're talking to 50 to 100 people and saying, well, the whole United States is based on these 50 to 100 people that are sitting in front of a homeless shelter, right? It doesn't make any sense. It's just a mess. All right, let's jump into the red file. Red file, guys. Did anyone out there see Tucker Carlson and this Vladimir Putin interview? Wow. Now, 2 hours is a long time, and Putin likes to hear himself talk, especially though I have to say the guy is extremely knowledgeable in history. And I know Tucker Carlson is a history major back in his college days. But guys, this is a very interesting interview here. A lot of things that were taken out of this, I was really surprised. I didn't know there was a peace talk on the table. And Putin is saying, and again, I'm not saying that this is the truth or not, but he's saying that ex-Prime Minister of the UK, Johnson, after they were signing everything, was told that to stop the whole thing by our president. That was very, very interesting. And it really kind of plays into that war narrative of just war without end, huh? And that's what we're seeing here. Tucker asked him, have you talked to President Biden. You would think that we would be negotiating some peace treaty, right, with Ukraine and where he was at. According to Putin, he was ready to go ahead and sign it, take all the providences that were Russian, and then just wrap it up and keep Ukraine where it's at. In fact, he says he walked away from one of the bigger cities because it was of good faith. But he says he hasn't talked to anybody that's at the White House. He says there's some back channels that are going on, but there's no phone calls. Guys, I don't know about you, but that all those billions of dollars sent over there could easily be subsidized for real estate here in the United States, subsidized and sliced up in different ways. Obviously, the border is one issue, but let's make sure there's no hunger in the United States. Number two, let's subsidize housing. Let's get more affordable housing throughout the United States so people can live that dream. The separation of the middle class is if you own a house or you don't own a house. Why can't we spend the money here? Why are we always looking to spend money somewhere else, someone else's border and not ours, or someone else's country and not ours? Spend the money here. Subsidize real estate. Help people out. Let's get the builders building and then subsidize the price down and get people in it. There's no question why we shouldn't be doing that right now. I mean, we could look what's happened in this state of California. I mean, besides the housing prices going out of control, you can't even afford, in certain areas, you can't even get insurance, home insurance, because it's gone out of control. The governor just made so many bad mistakes, and the commissioner, Ricardo Lara, my God, can the guy do anything right? He just keeps causing utilities or the insurance commission just keeps messing up, and all the insurers want to leave the state. They're gone. Tap it out. See ya. And now the state's trying to have their own fund. It's a complete another whole video. That's a nightmare itself. All right, let's jump into the interest rates. We saw a little bump yesterday. We went up about 3 basis points to 6.7 on conforming. FHA is about 6.53, went up about 5 basis points. I did predict that we would see by the end of this quarter into the 3.7s to 3.5s. Right now, it doesn't look like it, but I know there's a lot of pressure on the Fed to do something as the year continues to step forward, going forward, that they have to do something. Otherwise, I think the political pressure upon them is going to be so great, not to replace them, but to make them do things that ordinarily they wouldn't do. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. If you have any comments, please leave them below. I'm more than happy to respond to them. Otherwise, you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you on Monday.